What's up, everybody? This is Zack, aka Zaki, creator of Jet Radio and many more podcasts on the website Zack.coffee. That's ZACK.COFFEE. This is Coffee with Zack in English. Let's go ahead and drink some coffee or some tea, whatever you'd like. Feels good. Okay, this is for the video for yesterday, for Monday. This is going to be for Monday, February 10th. Didn't have a chance to record my video for Monday because it was for content creation, and I had my beard yesterday, and so I wanted to be clean shaven to record this video. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. First and foremost, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the Super Bowl. It was kind of a blowout, but Philadelphia Eagles won this match. It was fair and square. They were much stronger, and I was able to eat a couple of wings, so it was good to hang out with my dad. So I appreciate that. Little bit of advice. This goes to me as well. A lot of us guys, we fight with our dads from time to time. Sometimes we get into big arguments, small arguments. Please remember that our dads are never going to be there forever. Like, let's not sound morbid, but they're not there forever. And even our heroes taught teachers that. One of my tech hero geeks, nerds, otakus, Kevin Rose. Kevin Rose used to love watching the Green Bay Packers with his dad, and eventually, as time went on, his dad, I believe, passed away because of old age or whatever. So it's always important, even if your dad does not like sports, find a sport that he likes, watch games with him, go to attend games with him, whatever. Just, it's important to keep that father-son bond, because you never know when it can be the last time that the two of you guys can enjoy a game of Super Bowl. You never think about that, but just I want to put that as a tidbit. Hope you remember. All right, guys, let's go straight into the show. Let's go ahead with the first story. The first story is Donald Trump's Super Bowl tariffs are an act of self-harm. This is from The Economist. Really bad things going on with Trump and these tariffs. It's getting worse and worse. Now he's doing it on, I believe, minerals, aluminum and steel. So it's just going to be a disaster. Everyone's going to be upset, and even the CEO of Ford Motor Company just mentioned how all these tariffs are ruining everybody's lives. More information on this article. I am no longer subscribed to The Economist. I can't afford it, but I want to walk into a store and be able to buy it. So if people can let me know where I can buy this. I used to buy it at Barnes & Nobles, but last time I went there, I could not find it, so I don't know if they're all sold out. But I need a copy of The Economist. I need to buy it once a week. The edition, I forgot how much it costs. It costs like $5 or $10, but I need this magazine. This magazine is like my Bible. All the articles are very important. When you read The Economist, it's not at a eighth grade reading level like USA Today. No, The Economist is written by professionals, and professionals read The Economist. So people that, not just executives and CEOs and all that, but even people that are analysts, people that are working political consultants, and all this and that. It's a very important piece of medium to read, because that's how you'll be able to know what's going on, what actually is going on. You know, it's for the big boys, but for the adults in the room, not for the children. It's a really important magazine, and we try to act like it's not, but no, it's a really important magazine. We need to read it, and I'm really apologize that I can't afford my membership right now. So as soon as I can just at least get $5 or $10, at least I can get one single issue for the magazine, and try to buy it, once in a blue moon when I can. The next future article is written by the Economist as well, for 1843 magazine, which talks about how Tulsi Gabbard became a crusader against the deep state. This is unfortunately a very weird article because it's an op-ed, but Tulsi Gabbard actually was kind of an agent for Russia. She was an agent for Russia, and she basically has no experience to work in the entire intelligence community. She has no experience. She has no experience in doing that, and she's going to be put in that role, and people are going to quickly notice that she has no experience working in the IC. So we'll see what happens in due time, but there'll be hearings, there'll be all this and that, but she just doesn't have the caliber of what we need to have a a person into that role that oversees not just one intelligence community. There's about 17 or 18 of them, but all 18 intelligence agencies and overseeing all of them. It's a lot of work. It's really a peculiar work. Up next, we have how to answer walk me through your resume about Harvard Business Review. I might enjoy that article. Once again, I might need membership for that, but I need to find a way how to talk to people about my gap in my resume, because they're always like, what do you have this gap? You can't just go into an interview and when they ask you for a gap and just say, well, Spider-Man stuff. This is not gonna it's not gonna fly. They're not gonna be able to understand. Like, no one's gonna understand when you tell them, well, I had great power, so I had to use great responsibility. They're not gonna understand that, and you can't make them go on your website and read for 10 years worth of stuff that you've been writing and all this stuff you've been working on helping students with mental health, or military veterans who deal with PTSD. Like, it's going to be very hard to explain all that in just 30 seconds. But there are ways for me to explain that through my startup, through the work that I do, and hopefully they'll understand that when I have a gap in my resume, I can explain. Well, I took classes. I took a data analyst certificate, then I also took a project management certificate. So maybe that will explain them, so to assure them that I was not just chilling and chillaxing. Up next, beware ill-fitting menstrual cups, warn doctors. BBC. This is an article by BBC for women when they're on their period. Please be careful. These menstrual cups might be very bad, and they can cause problems, so be sure to check that out. Very important article. Up next, we have Egypt tells U.S. top diplomat Rubio that Arab states reject Trump's Gaza plan. This is a very important article by Egypt and Jordan. They are very much against what Trump is trying to do with the Gaza plan. What's going on in the situation is very deplorable, very horrible, very terrible, and we have to make sure that the people in Gaza are being safe, and that they do not being bombarded all the time. And we need this ceasefire to continue for the whole 6 weeks and even beyond that, so that we get towards the deal of the century, which is the two-state solution. We have to get to that. It has to happen. There's been a genocide. Remember, it wasn't just 40,000 people that passed away. When they started going through all the crumbles and all this and that, it became 60,000 dead people. 60,000 dead Palestinians is like a genocide. This is a Holocaust. It's really sad for all the people in Palestine. So I want you to really please understand the magnitude of the situation, with over 100,000 injured as well. Up next, we have what does Trump's ethnic cleansing proposal means for Gaza ceasefire deal. This is another article about the same topic. This is from the Al Jazeera News. Be sure to check it out. Goes into details how dangerous this is. We do not want ethnic cleansing in the region. So let's hope that people come to their senses. Up next, we have another article about Afghanistan from Afghanistan International. ISIS remain a major threat to Afghanistan and the region, warns UN. This is a very important article, because we know that the fact that the U.S. troops are no longer in Afghanistan, that becomes a bed for the rise of terrorism to get back to upend itself once again, and then it can be an issue for we could be worried about attacks that comes all the way back to America. But it is very important to keep our eyes on the area, and it's very important for ISIS to be completely eradicated, so that there's no more issues worldwide. Up next, we have an article from the New Yorker about Kendra Lamar's meta performance at the Super Bowl. Kendrick Lamar had a huge performance at the Super Bowl. You can even watch the video online. It was a great concert about a couple of songs, and people did enjoy it. He even did a little hint about PlayStation. He had an X, circle, a square, and triangle on the place where he was doing this concert. So it was pretty cool. So I don't know if that's probably a hint for Grand Theft Auto 6. Probably a hint for Grand Theft Auto 6. There is a state of play for PlayStation tomorrow on Tuesday, February 12th. So that's 2/12/2025. So we don't know. Maybe there'll be a trailer for GTA, or maybe there'll be a release date. I mean, a lot of people are waiting for the release date. Me personally, I'm waiting for release date and a new trailer for Death Stranding 2. Really eager to play this year. This is going to be my the Death Stranding 2 is essentially $1 million worth of therapy for me. As you know, I'm dealing with a lot this year. I'm dealing with I'm going through divorce right now, and about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I was going through miscarriage. I had a miscarriage with my wife, so it's just a very tumultuous time. And for me, all that I want to do right now is I want to play the latest game from Hideo Kojima, and I want to defeat Higgs in Death Stranding 2. I'm looking forward to it. I have the jitters just thinking about it, and I can't wait to share this experience with you guys, because we'll probably do a live stream while I play it, and it ought to be really cool to do. All right, up next we have Teenage Engineering Up XY review. Extremely fun, extremely powerful, and extremely expensive. This is a cool device from Teenage Engineering. As you know, Teenage Engineering does all these little synthesizers and very cool devices. Unfortunately, their products are extremely expensive, so I never got a chance to toy or play with them, and it really makes me sad. But I hope someday, whenever Zack Technology LLC kicks off the ground, I get a lot of funding, or if people give me a job position working as a project manager with their company, startup, or corporation, I'll be able to buy something like Teenage Engineering synthesizers. This is an article from The Verge, so be sure to check that out. Up next, a major book publisher announced a change. The industry freaked out. This is an article from Vox. Be sure to check that article out, because it could change the whole world of bookstores and of books in general. This is actually considering to put a quote on each book front cover. A quote from the book on the front cover, meaning that now people, when they go and shop for books, they will actually look at the quote on the book, and if the quote is not that great, no one would buy the book. So it would be very difficult, very complicated. So be sure to see that article and see the implications of it. Up next, we have Apple and Google take down malicious mobile apps from their app stores. This is from TechCrunch. Very important. Be very careful, especially on Android. Be careful of malicious apps, malware apps. Do not download stuff that is not an official app. It can ruin your phone. As you know, I use an iPhone, but I also use a Android phone, and my Android phone is my San Francisco number, my 628 number, because this is a number I want for work calls when people get interested and excited about Zack Technology LLC, my startup / corporation. All right. Up next, we have an article from MIT Technology Review, Inside the Race to Archive the U.S. government website. This is really important. This is very dangerous, because data.gov kind of went a little bit offline and started removing a bunch of content from its website. And that's been very, very complicated for a lot of people that work in government, or people that are interested in government data analytics, because all this stuff is now missing. So people are rushing to save all of this data so that it be saved in storage in the cloud or elsewhere. Up next, we have an article from Business Insider. Elon Musk-led group wants to control OpenAI for $100 billion. Sam Altman says no thank you. So it appears that Elon Musk tried to buy OpenAI from Sam Altman, and Sam Altman said no thank you. On the top of that, Sam Altman say you'll even buy Twitter from Elon Musk, because it's not worth as much as it used to be. So it's very complicated. Up next, we have a big article on LinkedIn about the AI Action Summit in France. This is actually very important, very cool, and be sure to check it out. Be sure to check it out on LinkedIn. There's a lot of information, and then it'll take you to a video, and I'll listen to that. Up next, 3 convicted of murder for luring men from gay bars to their deaths. It's an article from the New York Times. This is a very sad article. As you know, you have to be very careful for you guys. If you happen to be, of that sexual identity, be very careful where you go. Make sure you go with friends and all this and that, because there's very sadistic people, very sad, weird people out there, mean people that are that are murderers and do things like that. So it's a very tragic story. More information on the New York Times. Up next, we have an article from Huffington Post. Law professor flags Trump doomsday scenario, say that'll cause real constitutional crisis. Now, it's been about 3 or 4 weeks. We're now in week 4, and now finally judges are talking about a constitutional crisis. It has to be said. It's really that is what's happening right now. More information on Huffington Post. Be sure to check it out. Up next, we have an article from The Atlantic. The Atlantic. This article here is called "What is Hims Actually Selling?" Now, as you know, Hims was a company that was first started out as helping men with hair loss, and then for other issues. But now it's helping both men and women with weight loss. So everyone's kind of worried about. Everyone's kind of interested as to what this company does. So be sure to check out this article from The Atlantic to let you more details of what they do. Up next, we have an article from 538. 538. The article is Trump is giving Elon Musk an unprecedented amount of power. People have been complaining about this. There's even a cover on the Times Magazine which shows the presidential commander-in-chief desk, and it has Elon Musk on this as opposed to Trump, just because it goes to show how much Elon Musk power he has and how scary it is. Be sure to check out that article by 538. Up next, your employer might be spying on you. Here's how employers can check. So be sure to read this article from the Washington Post. Washington Post. When you're working work from home and you're working at home, your employee might be using your webcam to spy on you, maybe using your microphone to see if you're chit-chatting, and you might be using the mouse to see if you're actually moving your mouse while you're working. So be sure to read this article from the Washington Post. All right, let's take a pause. Let's go ahead. I'm going to have a little bit of water. Always important to have some H2O. All right, let's go ahead and delve into the next article. The next article is going to be from Le Monde. Le Monde is essentially the New York Times, but Le Monde is in France. That's the equivalent of the New York Times is Le Monde, the world in France. Macron urges European action to attract AI projects. So there's a lot of investment in France right now for AI projects. Very, very important, and this is amazing. This is great for the people of France. And there's even another article. I don't know if I shared it in here, but France is now having a boost of I think over $30 billion from investment in AI from UAE. From the UAE, they're investing $30 billion. And then France itself is also looking at an investment of about $109 billion in France for AI deemed projects. It's a wonderful thing that's happening. And if you're eager about working in a different country, you're not too sure where to work, France is a great place. As you know, right now, I'll talk a little bit about it because I'm considering working in France or working in America for a French company. So we'll see what happens. More details later. Up next, we have an article by Mashable. Meta begins slashing thousands from its workforce. Meta, the parent company of Facebook, is about removing about 4,000 jobs right now. So be sure to check out that article from Mashable. It's doing it the day after Super Bowl, so it must be that they're getting rid of a lot of people that got rowdy and just try to call in sick from work or something. Up next, article from Vice. Deleted TikTok too soon? You can get it back if you have Android. It's an article from Vice about getting that TikTok app back on your phone. As you know, I'm not a big fan of TikTok. I hardly ever use it. I'm part of the people that are kind of like frowned upon, kind of like a parent that says, I hate TikTok because a lot of teenagers, both boys and girls, when they're driving, they do stupid things because when they're in groups of 3 or 4 people, their reaction time is worse when they're driving. They're unable to pause, stop the car if a car is stopped, or if there's a traffic jam or all this and that. When there's more people into the vehicle and then they're recording a TikTok, they're not paying attention and then they get in car accidents. So this conundrum makes me so sad that, to me, I want it completely banned. I want TikTok banned. And like I said, just if you're using TikTok, please never use it in the car. And just don't even think about it. Oh no, I'm just from the back seat. All this stuff. When you distract the driver, you put your life at risk. So never use TikTok inside a vehicle. When you're in a vehicle where everybody wears their seatbelt, get to your location and then party and get rowdy. But when you're in the car and you're all jumping around, and someone's recording a TikTok, the worst can happen. Tell you that right now. You don't believe me? Call CHP right now. Highway Patrol. Ask them if there's been horror stories like that because of TikTok. They'll say there's all these stories, and they'll tell you. All right, moving on. This is a story from The Intercept. Story is about global HIV care thrown into chaos by Trump. I will be sick and maybe die. This is a very sad story from The Intercept. Let me go to that story right now. This goes to show that people have medication regarding HIV, and if they don't get their medication, they would die from it because the medication is so expensive. As you know, not everybody can live and pay for this medication like Magic Johnson, because these medications cost like millions of dollars, and a lot of people, especially people with the health of LGBTQ plus people, it's very tough on them. But hopefully something will be done. As you know, way back during the George Bush era, George Bush did a great amount of work to fight off HIV/AIDS, and right now there was a lot of great new success as to defeating the disease, and now we're back to square one because Trump does not want to pay for the medication to help these poor people, whether it's Africa or elsewhere throughout the planet. It's very, very sad stuff. So hopefully there will be a way to fix this ordeal. And as always, please check out the red.org campaign. Always does great work. Up next, we're going to move to an article from National Geographic, which says, is America's legal alcohol limit for driving too high? This is always a political debate. Some people say, was it longer? Is it too old, 21 or 18? What is it, too old, too young? Nobody can decide a debate. So be sure to check out the article. This is from National Geographic. Up next is an article from NPR, National Public Radio. The article says Trump administration targets education department research arm in latest cuts. Now, this is ridiculous. It's completely bonkers. He's trying to get rid of the education department. The whole education department, it's really important. Like a lot of people have talked about at length how now the reading levels of students are getting worse and worse, and Trump is trying to cut down the education department. Really bad. Up next, we have an article from Cap Radio News. Governor Newsom strikes delicate political balance with Trump while seeking federal money for LA fires. This was tough on the governor. Governor Newsom had to really explain the situation to Trump. Like, look, we need some funds to be allocated to deal with the LA fires. Now that the LA fires are over, and in most parts, fires are contained, we have to rebuild. They have to rebuild all these areas in the Palisades and elsewhere. Up next, we have an article by Le Monde Diplomatique. Quand l'extrême droite cible la jeunesse. This is a very important article. Very important article. A lot of people do not know about this, but a lot of the young people, the youth in France, when they feel disenfranchised, when they feel that, especially Caucasian, feel that everything is wrong, everything's going wrong with them, the extreme right, Le Rassemblement National, RN, is trying to seduce them and trying to get them to join their parties. And that's how it's happened multiple times. And they're targeting them, and then they're getting them to join their ranks. And it's a very sad behavior, and that's why it's very tough for le Parti Socialiste, le Nouveau Front Populaire, NFP. They're working together to make sure that people stay on the left, help people together, and come to a good conclusion where they have people that are left, like Democrats, instead of people that are Republican or extreme right, which is very dangerous. Up next, we have an article from Foreign Policy, one of my favorite magazine. Pope Francis is ready to take on MAGA. Even the Pope wants to take on the MAGA cult of Trump because he's really tired of the situation. It's because he's getting rid of all the immigrants and all this and that. It's a really difficult situation. It's really complicated. Up next, we have an article by Foreign Affairs, another great magazine. The Post-Neoliberal Delusions and the Tragedy of Bidenomics. So this article is trying to explain what went wrong with Biden and why is it that they lost the election. So it's a very important article. We'll have to go through it, highlight it, reread it again, reread it a third time, and just go through it and see what the hell went wrong. And, what the hell went wrong. And even Trump, Biden thought that he would have won if he had stayed on as a candidate, but because he froze during that stupid debate with Trump, because someone poisoned his drink and he was drunk or something and he could not say any words during his debate. He was unable to perform and he had to change candidacy. That's why Kamala Harris has to become the nominee. Very scary stuff. Very scary stuff. And then we can't go back in the past. We can't just immediately pick Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg or Alex Padilla. Now the election happened, but we have to consider maybe still a recount is possible this month. It's still early. It's still November. It's still February. It's February. It's week 4. It's week 4, but an impeachment third proceeding is possible. All right. Up next, we got an article by The Diplomat. Cambodia attests for China's BRIE 2.0 vision. So check that out at the Diplomat. Up next, we got an article by The Cipher Brief. Understanding an unprecedented moment for the FBI. Former senior FBI officials hope for a worst-case scenario isn't looming amid heightened threats from to the U.S. This is a very important article at the Cipher Brief. A lot of people are concerned about Kash Patel. Kash Patel might not be the best person to lead the FBI because he has no experience and he's not fit for the job, and he has no his credentials or his resume doesn't fit for the profile. So be sure to check out that article. Up next, we have an article by Intelligence Online in French version. This has to do with la Gazette du renseignement de GSI et la répression transnationale signale et diplomate américain à Kiev, le CV mouliné de la DGSE si Xi Jinping rafle les primes. Very important article. It's in French, so for you guys that are bilingual, be sure to check that out. Up next, article by Quantum Magazine. Chatbot software begins to face fundamental limitations. Be sure to check it out. Very important article by Quantum Magazine. Up next, we have an article by CERN in French. This is about quantum stuff. So very cool quantum news from CERN. Be sure to check it out. Article is right there. Up next, article by NASA. More than 400 lives saved with NASA's search and rescue tech in 2024. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff from NASA. All right, guys, that's everything from this content curation, and I have some interesting news. Is that I'm going to be, as you know, I'm trying my best to work for a startup or a company or corporation here in the States as a project manager or a business analyst. I'm trying my best to. One of the companies I'm really looking forward to is Amazon. Amazon has a big warehouse in Tracy, California, in Central Valley, and they have major headquarters in like Seattle's and elsewhere. But if I could just get a salary job, I could work at the near the one in Tracy, and I could just commute and just travel there a few times a week or of that matter. But I've applied to Amazon. I've applied to Facebook, even though I'm not so thrilled about Facebook. I've applied to Intel, even though they're losing a lot of people. I've applied to AMD. I've applied to Apple. And like I said, I'm here to work as a project manager, 80 to 120K, or even take a pay cut. I'm just eager to work. But as you can see, with this technology becoming so powerful, these AIs, Meta, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and now the French have one called Le Chat. It's getting and DeepSeek from China. So this technology is getting bigger and bigger, and it's gonna remove more and more position. More people are gonna get let go because if you don't have a technical job, your job is in serious danger. It's in serious danger, and they're gonna remove more and more jobs. If you're not a geek, nerd, otaku, if you're not writing code, you might, your job might become irrelevant. Like I've talked about this, a lot of these jobs, especially maintaining these servers, can be held by a skeleton crew of 2 or 3 people, just like the comedy IT crowd, the IT crowd, a little bit like that. It's not as bad as that, but it can be as bad as that. So, like I said, I'm here to join and help you out. But if you don't help me out, I have to look elsewhere. That's what I'm trying to say. If a man like myself applied to 30,000 jobs between 2019 and 2025, something is wrong here. We have to look at, there might be some some little form of discrimination here because my name is not uh, does not come to your liking because my name is foreign and it's not Indian. It's an Arab name, even though I'm not Arab. Okay, so please, we continue for you guys who support me. I appreciate it. I've got over 37,000 views on my blog since I've started over 10 years ago. I have over 11,000 views on my YouTube. I have over 500 unique subscribers on the blog every day, and over 20,000 views on LinkedIn on a weekly basis, which means these numbers are projecting. A lot of people is enjoying reading this content. So help me out. I'll do more live stream on YouTube for you for the PlayStation, and we're gonna keep at it. Help me find a way to gain income, whether it is making small donations, Venmo, PayPal, GoFundMe, a little bit of crypto here and there. But eventually, I will my startup try to get an evaluation, and then I will try to do through all the steps of MVP or Series A or all this and that to do rounds of fundings and all this and that. Like I said, I'm not like some of these other guys in San Francisco who are trying to, we're raising $4 billion. We're raising $500 million. Like, no. Like right now, what am I trying to raise? Do you want to know what I'm trying to raise? I'm trying to raise about 200,000. 200,000 is mere pepite compared to what these people are asking for in the Bay Area. So many people in the Bay Area are asking for millions of dollars. And that is not what I'm asking. Right now, I'm just one-man army. I've been working on this for 10 years. And right now, just to scale, I just need a vehicle. I need a vehicle to travel for meetings between here, Sacramento, and San Francisco. I need that vehicle to commute between the two cities. I need a gas card and I need a credit card. And eventually, I'll need an apartment as well. So if you love the work, if you are a part of this community of guys, a lot of you guys, especially some of you guys who deal with mental health or veterans who deal with PTSD, and you're very having a tough day, and my videos of whatever game you enjoy, whether it's Call of Duty, Battlefield 2042, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, or any other games that I play that bring you joy to your screens, or joy to your face, and all this and that. If you enjoy, please write me, send me feedback. Let me know what you like, what you dislike, and all this and that, and I'll keep at it. And we're gonna keep this up. Lastly, I just want to mention in March I'm going to be in France. I'm really excited. If you're in France, in the city of Grenoble and Annecy, I'm going to be there, and especially at La French Tech, Grenoble. La French Tech Grenoble, the city is in Grenoble. It's La French Tech, the Alps, and not necessarily to work there, maybe elsewhere in France, but I'm going to do my papers. I'm going to do my papers, and then legally I'll be able to work in any La French Tech, the whole American map and the whole France map, or even Germany or Japan, wherever. It doesn't matter. Like La French Tech San Francisco, La French Tech LA, La French Tech, wherever the fuck La French Tech is, I'll be able to work. It'll be great. I'm a bilingual. I speak fluent French and English, and I can be a mediator for your company to seek American investors or different investors because I speak fluently. I know a lot of you guys that are French. You speak a little bit like this, and you have a little bit of trouble speaking and articulating what you need. I don't have that problem. I can speak fluent English, no problem. I've been here in the States for like 20 years or something now. Okay? All right. Thank you guys for watching. Please continue to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really means a lot. I have about 34 subscribers. Really means a lot. And like I said, over 10,000 views of on my YouTube channel since I've started. Really excited. Let's get those numbers up. And still unable, don't have funds to get to the tofu shop, and I'll do my best. Like I said, as soon as I get funds again on a monthly basis, I will do my best. But like I said, it's been 4 months with no funds, no help. So as soon as I'm getting some funds again, I'll try to show up and see you guys. All right, guys, peace, and talk to you guys later. Everything's on the website, Zack.coffee. That's ZSEK.COFFE. For all the Jet-Lag radios and other podcasts, lefrenzy.co. LEFRENZO.co.